Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Our mission, as always, is to cut through the noise and really bring you some fascinating insights.
Yeah, exactly.
And today we're heading into, well, a land of extremes, you could say. Paradoxes, even.
Right.
We're talking about Russia.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try and unpack some of the hidden stories, the surprising facts, just the sheer scale of a country that, well, our sources really show it constantly defies expectations.
Absolutely. And the material we've got to work with today is pretty exceptional, I think. It's full of details that go way beyond the usual headlines.
Right.
So hopefully you'll have a few of those aha moments, the kind that genuinely shift how you might see this huge nation.
Definitely hope so. Okay, so when we talk Russia, the first thing, I mean, it almost has to be the geography, the sheer scale of it.
Oh, yeah.
Forget what you think you know. This place spans, what, 11 time zones? That's incredible.
It really is. 11 time zones, almost half the globe right there.
It stretches literally from the edge of Europe all the way over to the Pacific.
Yeah.
And it borders 16 other countries.
16. More than anywhere else on Earth.
Exactly.
And what's really striking about that, it's not just the number itself, right? It's what that actually means in practice.
How so?
Well, think about it. You could have a major business meeting happening in Moscow, but you've got to factor in that the workday is already over, thousands of miles away in Vladivostok.
Huh. Never thought of it quite like that.
Yeah, it's not just some, geographical quirk. This huge difference in time and space, it affects everything. Logistics, how the government runs, culture, regional differences, even military stuff.
Wow.
It must require this constant, almost unimaginable juggling act.
And inside all that massive space, there's this other paradox, this paradox of space itself. You might think it's packed with people,
I
right?
would think so, yeah.
But the sources we looked at highlight that over 70% of Russia is actually uninhabited.
70%.
Yeah, we're talking colossal areas of untouched forest, huge tundras, mountains.
It's not just empty land. It creates enormous challenges, obviously, for building things, for infrastructure.
Sure.
But it also gives the country this massive wild heart, a huge source of natural resources, strategic depth,
A wild heart, I like that. And that wild landscape, it also hosts some of the most extreme temperatures anywhere. Take Oymyakon.
Ah, yes. The coldest inhabited place on the planet. Famously so.
Colder than Mars, apparently. Temperatures drop down to minus 67.7 Celsius. That's staggering.
Minus 67. It's not just cold. That's the kind of cold that basically rewrites the rules for being human.
So how do people do it? How do communities not just, survive, but actually live there, maintain a life in conditions that seem impossible?
Well, it's an amazing example of adaptation, really. Human resilience.
What kind of adaptations are we talking about?
Okay, so in Oymyakon, buildings often need multiple layers of insulation, traditional plumbing, almost impossible.
Because it would freeze solid.
Exactly. Outdoor toilets are common because pipes underground just freeze. Their diet is super rich in fats, local reindeer, fish like Arctic char, even horse meat sometimes. It's essential just to keep your body temperature up.
Makes sense?
Even simple things like starting your car. You might have to keep the engine running constantly or have special heated garages.
Wow.
And get this, burying the dead takes days. They often have to build bonfires to thaw the permafrost just enough to dig a grave.
Unbelievable. It's a total re-engineering of just daily life.
Completely.
Okay, so from that raw, untamed physical space, let's shift to a different kind of hidden space. These secret cities.
Ah, yes. The Zetos, the closed administrative territorial formations, a real legacy of the Soviet era.
Right. Our sources mentioned over 40 of these were built, and they were literally hidden, not on maps, not in public records.
That's right. Often centers for, really critical stuff, defense work, nuclear research, military bases, kept completely under wraps.
Imagine living your whole life somewhere that officially didn't even exist to the outside world. What was that like for the people inside?
It must have created this very strange, isolated little world within the larger country.
Isolated, but maybe privileged in some ways.
Often, yes. Residents sometimes had better access to goods, food, schools compared to the average Soviet citizen. But the trade-off was immense isolation and control.
You couldn't just leave?
Nope. Not without special permission. And outsiders obviously couldn't get in. Everything, even sending mail, your job, it was all defined by this secrecy.
Must have fostered a strong sense of community, maybe, but also
a definite disconnect from the rest of the world, yeah. A shared secret, but an isolating one.
And what's really wild is that some of these cities, they still exist today, right?
Some do, yeah. Often still centered around nuclear facilities or military areas. Residents might still be monitored.
And foreigners need special permission, even now.
In many cases, yes. Just to get inside, it really shows how deep that culture of state-controlled information went, and in some ways, still goes.
There was one example, Zeleznogorsk.
Right. Zeleznogorsk, for decades, it was just a postcode. Krasnoyarsk 26.
Just a number.
Its actual existence wasn't officially admitted by the Soviets until the early 90s.
That's incredible.
It really speaks volumes about the layers of secrecy, how information itself could be treated as a state secret. It's shaped things for a long time.
Okay, so moving beyond human secrets, Russia's landscape itself is just full of bizarre stuff. Let's talk about Lake Baikal.
Ah, Baikal, the Pearl of Siberia. It's not just a lake, it's like the lake.
Deepest freshwater lake in the world. Oldest, over 25 million years old. And it goes down, 1,642 meters?
Just think about that depth and its age. It holds something like 20% of all the world's unfrozen freshwater.
20% in one lake.
Yeah, the volume is just immense. But what makes it truly mysterious, perhaps, are the weird things reported from its depths.
Weird things? Like what?
Well, scientists have recorded strange sonar echoes, signals they can't easily explain. And then there are these accounts, maybe anecdotal but persistent, of diverse experiencing weird hallucinations.
Hallucinations?
Or even vanishing under, mysterious circumstances.
Oh, whoa. That sounds unsettling. What are the scientists actually thinking might be causing those signals? Any solid theories?
There are a few ideas floating around. Some think it could be unique geological stuff, maybe weird methane gas releases bubbling up from the lake bed.
Okay.
Or unusual seismic activity because it's in a rift zone, a place where the Earth's crust is splitting apart. Others wonder about undiscovered deep-water life.
Like extremophiles, things living under crazy pressure.
Exactly. Things that might create sounds or light we don't understand yet. As for the hallucinations, well, maybe nitrogen narcosis at those depths plays a role.
Could be.
But the vanishing stories, those remain pretty chilling. It just reminds you how much we don't know about that ancient deep water.
Definitely a sense of mystery there.
Yeah.
And speaking of mystery, what about the Potomsky crater?
Yeah, that's a really strange one. Just this weird cone-shaped mound of rock sitting in the middle of nowhere in Siberia.
And nobody knows how it got there.
Not for sure, no. Theories fly around, some wild ones, like a UFO crash.
Okay.
Others maybe more plausible, like some kind of underground gas explosion or a weird volcanic thing they call cryptovolcanic. But the point is, it's unsolved.
What makes it so weird for geologists? Why can't they figure it out?
Well, it doesn't really fit the mold. It's not like a typical impact crater, no meteorite bits found nearby, and it doesn't look quite like standard volcanic activity either.
Huh?
Some think maybe a super dense object hit and didn't leave fragments, or perhaps that gas explosion idea holds water. The fact it's still debated, decades after discovery just shows how vast and mysterious that landscape really is.
It really does. And that sense of mystery, it kind of carries over into the culture too, doesn't it? Traditions with deep roots.
Absolutely. We've talked geography, the strange natural stuff, but the country's character also really comes through in its culture, which is way more than just, vodka and ballet stereotypes.
Sure. Like bears, for instance.
Right. Bears in Russia aren't just animals, they're powerful national symbols. Strength, resilience, that wild spirit of the land itself.
And historically, there was actual bear taming as like entertainment.
Yeah, but it was more complex than just performance. It was this whole rural tradition, sometimes tied up with rituals, a deep kind of understanding of the animal, a strange relationship between humans and the wild.
And that symbolism is still strong today. People get bear tattoos.
Oh yeah, definitely. Our sources mention that. It's seen as a sign of power, sure, but also survival. Enduring the harshness, which is a very Russian theme, you could say.
A connection to the land and history. Makes sense.
Exactly. And speaking of cultural things that maybe break stereotypes, there's a wedding tradition that's actually really fun and playful.
Oh, which one's this?
The one where the groom has to kidnap the bride's shoe.
Kidnap her shoe. Okay.
Yeah. And then his friends, the groomsmen, usually have to buy it back.
Buy it back. With what?
Could be anything. Jokes, maybe some money. Sometimes they have to do embarrassing dares or sing songs. It gets pretty lively.
That sounds hilarious. A great way to involve everyone.
It really shows this vibrant, funny, communal side. It's not just a game, it's like a social ritual. Builds camaraderie, tests the groom's friends a bit, lots of laughter before things get serious.
Highlights that collective spirit.
Definitely. And talking about traditions with deep meaning, there's the custom of offering bread and salt to visitors.
Ah, yes, the bread and salt. That feels very iconic, very symbolic.
It really is. It's all about hospitality, protection, welcoming someone.
What's the deeper meaning behind using bread and salt specifically?
Well, historically, bread is, the staff of life. It represents abundance, prosperity. And salt back then was super valuable.
Right, preservative essential.
Exactly. It symbolized purity, maybe endurance, even wealth. So offering them together was like this ancient promise. We offer you our best. We wish you well. You are safe here. It creates this bond of trust.
That's beautiful. It shows a real warmth maybe hidden behind that sometimes stern exterior we hear about.
Precisely. A deep-seated value of making a guest feel truly welcome and respected.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit into some, truly unbelievable events. Soviet legends, almost sci-fi stuff. The Tunguska event, 1908, Siberia.
Oh, Tunguska. A classic mystery. This massive explosion happens over this remote river area, flattens something like 2,000 square kilometers of forest.
2,000 square kilometers, that's huge.
Enormous. But here's the kicker. No impact crater, no fragments of a meteorite found, nothing like that.
So what do they think it was?
Well, the leading scientific theory is probably an airburst, a meteoroid, or a piece of a comet exploding high in the atmosphere before it hit the ground.
Okay, that makes some sense.
But because there's no direct proof, no definitive fragments, it's left the door open for, decades of speculation. Everything from mini black holes to antimatter to, stranger things.
Like what, UFOs, secret weapons tests?
Those theories are out there, yeah. More fringe, obviously. But the lack of hard evidence just fuels the mystery. It really highlights how vast and sometimes inexplicable that part of the world can be.
A true mystery. And speaking of huge forces, Soviet engineering produced some massive things. The Typhoon-class submarine.
The Typhoons, Akula in Russian, the largest submarines ever built. Absolute behemoths.
Capable of carrying 20 nuclear missiles each, right?
20 ballistic missiles, yeah. Each with multiple warheads. It was an incredible feat of engineering for its time.
What made them so special, apart from just being big?
They had this unique design, like two separate submarine hulls placed side by side, then covered by an outer hull, made them incredibly survivable.
Wow.
And they were designed to be really quiet, hard to detect, operate under Arctic ice. They were a huge factor in Cold War naval strategy. Just shows the sheer ambition, the scale they were working on.
Incredible tech.
Yeah.
But maybe even more unbelievable than giant subs.
Yeah.
Is this story about a Russian guy in 1985.
Ah, you mean the meteorite survivor?
Yes. He actually got hit by a meteorite and survived. The odds must be astronomical.
Absolutely minuscule. Our sources say he's the only person in recorded history known to have been directly struck by a meteorite and lived.
That is just mind-blowing. A once-in-human history kind of event.
It really is. Tiny fragments fall all the time, meteor dust, but a direct hit by something substantial enough to notice. And surviving it. Extraordinary.
Just another layer of the unbelievable coming out of Russia.
It seems to be a theme, doesn't it? Where the improbable sometimes just happens.
Okay, let's bring more up to date. Modern Russia isn't all history and mystery, right? There's a big tech scene.
Oh, absolutely. That sometimes gets overlooked. They have some major global tech players. You've probably heard of Telegram.
The messaging app, yeah. Very popular.
Co-founded by a Russian entrepreneur, Pavel Durov. Known for its security, encryption, it's become huge worldwide.
And Yandex.
Yandex is massive in the Russian-speaking world. It started as a search engine, kind of like their Google, but now it's way more. Ride-hailing, food delivery, cloud services, AI research. They're a genuine tech giant, often competing head-to-head with Western companies in their markets.
So definitely an innovative side there.
For sure. A strong tech ecosystem has really grown.
And they're also big in esports. Like competitive video gaming.
Leaders, really. They were one of the very first countries, way back in 2001, I think, to officially recognize esports as a legitimate sport.
Really? That early?
Yeah. Which meant government support, private investment flowed in. They built academies, funded teams, hosted big tournaments.
So it wasn't just a casual thing.
Not at all. It was a strategic move, embracing digital culture early, and Russian teams and players are consistently among the best in the world at major international competitions.
Interesting. Okay, one last stop on our modern tour, Kaliningrad.
Ah, Kaliningrad.
The exclaves.
Right, that little piece of Russia, completely separate from the main country, stuck between Poland and Lithuania on the Baltic Sea.
It's a fascinating place, geographically and culturally.
Yeah.
Used to be German, Königsberg became Russian after World War II.
So it has layers of history.
Definitely. Its isolation means it often develops its own kind of vibe, sometimes different rules or economic conditions compared to mainland Russia. It's almost like a mini nation within a nation in some ways. Just adds another layer of complexity to the whole picture.
Exactly. Another piece of the puzzle that makes Russia so multifaceted.
Wow. Okay, so thinking back on everything, from those vast empty tundras and the secret cities, to the crazy depths of Lake Baikal, those unique cultural traditions, bears, shoe kidnapping, and those just unbelievable events like Tunguska or the meteorite guy. Russia really does seem to be this land of paradox.
It really is. Frozen landscapes, but full of life. Seemingly mysterious, but with traditions of deep hospitality. Cold exterior, maybe, but warm culture underneath.
It just defies easy labels, doesn't it?
Constantly. You think you've got it figured out, and then you find another layer. Ancient cities, sci-fi level nature, living legends. It's never just one simple thing.
It's a mosaic, like you said. Extremes and nuances all mixed together.
Precisely.
Well, this deep dive, I feel like we've only just, scratched the surface. There's so much more.
Always more.
So maybe the next time you hear about Russia in the news or somewhere, just remember everything we talked about. Remember, you've only really begun to grasp its incredible depth. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other surprising stories, what other profound insights might this vast, complex land still hold, just waiting to be discovered?